The fight to save net neutrality just got its biggest and perhaps most important ally yet, Pornhub, which, as you all know, is probably the most popular pornographic website in the universe. So they're a really important ally because they get 75 million visitors per day. So if they speak out in favor of net neutrality and why we need to protect net neutrality, then that could have a profound impact on the battle to save the internet. Now, as you all know, July 12th is the internet-wide day of action to protest the FCC's decision to roll back net neutrality regulations, and multiple large companies have pledged to participate, now including Pornhub. So Pornhub announced today that on July 12th, the adult entertainment website plans to join a protest organized by Fight for the Future, Free Press, and Demand Progress against the latest threat to a free and open internet. The protest day of action lands 5 days before the first deadline for comments on the FCC's proposal to roll back net neutrality protections. If net neutrality hadn't existed 10 years ago, Pornhub's fate would have been in the hands of cable and wireless companies, Corey Price, vice president at Pornhub, told me over email. Without it, the cable and wireless companies that control internet access will have unfair power to pick winners and losers in the market. Companies like Verizon, Comcast, and AT&T would be free to enact their own slow lanes and force people to pay more for certain sites. Pornhub joins one of more than 60 companies participating in the protest, including Amazon, GitHub, Kickstarter, Reddit, and Imgur. The day of action will be similar to the SOPA blackout protest in 2012 or the slowdown day in 2014, with messaging or interference that urges visitors to these websites to take action. Pornhub's among the top 20 most visited sites in the United States. Amazon.com and Reddit are both in the top 5. And according to Pornhub's own reporting, the site draws 75 million visitors per day, plenty of eyes that otherwise might not be aware of the net neutrality battle. Price said that Pornhub hasn't settled on specifics of the protest messaging, but is considering incorporating a loading icon to emphasize how it could make some sites much slower. Start practicing calming breaths for when you have to hold your patience on protest day. Quote, "No one in the porn industry ever yells slower, slower, slower," he said. "We're much more accustomed to faster, faster, faster. Here at Pornhub, we want to keep it that way." Okay, that last line there, I mean, that was a brilliant pun. So I expressed disappointment a couple of weeks ago when I told you how Netflix CEO Reed Hastings announced that he would basically be backing down from the net neutrality fight. However, Pornhub is perhaps the biggest ally we could ever hope or ask for because, again, 75 million visitors, and if they slow down videos on July 12th, it could get people to pay attention to what's at stake and what could potentially happen if Comcast, Verizon, and AT&T do in fact get their way. However, guess who decided to join the fight after all? Netflix had a change of heart. So they tweeted out a link to the July 12th day of action saying they will never outgrow the fight for net neutrality. Everyone deserves an open internet. And the link shows that they've now joined Fight for the Future's day of action on July 12th. So this news is amazing. This is great news. This is exactly what we could have hoped and wished for. And I received an email from Josh from Fight for the Future because I will also be participating in any way that I can in the day of action, saying that this is really going to be big. There's a lot more companies that have jumped on board, and we have now, I mean, the biggest websites on the internet, Amazon, Reddit, Pornhub, Netflix, all coming together to denounce the FCC's decision to kill net neutrality and ruin the internet. And to me, I find it so inspiring because this is what happened last time. This is what we saw. This is the level of resistance and activism we saw when we successfully stopped the FCC's agenda to kill net neutrality. And this is exactly what we needed. So I just couldn't be happier about the news regarding this. And I certainly am looking forward to the day of action. I really hope that everyone also will be inclined to participate because we are at a fight for democracy. It's not just about the internet, because if Comcast, Verizon, and AT&T are the gatekeepers and can choose to slow down websites over other websites and pick winners and losers, democracy is threatened. They can control information. They can not just kill off competition, that's certainly problematic, but I mean, they can stifle democracy. They can stifle dissenting opinions. They could shut down websites that are challenging their business model, that not just in terms of, competition, but also who speak out against the corrupt policies and anti-consumer policies that Comcast and Verizon constantly push. So this is great news.
Support this podcast by joining the independent progressive media revolution today at humanistreport.com.